So back to the anemometer project. I finally have the little gating signal coming from the 555 timer in bistable mode here. And I'm really not using the little adapter board here because I have this gating signal now. And so this gating signal basically is connected via this black wire right here, and I have it in my modified frequency counter, period counter. It's now a frequency, period, RPM, and miles per hour counter. So I'm going to describe the full circuit of that in another video, but what I've had it do is I have an extra little set of switches here. That extra little set of switches on top, when the switches are set in that position, it gives you miles per hour. When I set it to regular RPM mode, I just switched this last one down, and there we go. And now we're going to spin this, and now we're back to measuring RPMs. The little three-way connector at the bottom. So the blue wire provides the signal to be measured. That's the input signal. And the black wire coming from that 555 timer is the gating signal for this, rather than using the T flip-flop, which is that little yellow light in the back of the frequency counter, and that's for measuring period. So if I were gonna attach something else in the middle pin in this little area, there's a middle pin. That middle pin is meant for the period counter, so a separate gating signal for the period there, and the input signal would be 100 hertz clock, which I've incorporated into this board. This is the 100 hertz clock, and so that'll measure period in to the whatever hundredths of a second, whatever the timing signal of that is. And if I wanted to go back to just measuring period in 1 second, or frequency in 1 second, I would basically flip this switch to up, and that cancels out everything else. So that is the modification I had. I'm going to incorporate into a little box that I'm going to try to build today to try to get that working all together. But the gating signal works very well because this light goes on at the same time as the green light there, and that green light is the 18 kilohertz clock that counts the number of times that the total period that is counted by the binary counters is goes into 6,000. And so in this way, and it's a fast clock, so it goes very quickly, and it actually allows for everything to happen before the next period begins. So the brains of the operation, like I described in the previous video, is the CD4017 counter. This CD4017 counter starts in quiescent mode, which is the zero, the Q0 output. When the first Hall sensor trigger comes from this one right here, it gives a little pulse of light after it passes the Hall sensor, And once that happens, it goes to the second output. Once it goes to the second output, the period is actively counting. And then when the final Hall sensor trigger comes, it goes into the third output, which starts the division of 6,000 by the total number in the period. And it delivers all the counts via this blue wire back here, and that's going into the input signal. And so that's measuring the RPMs. And so gives a fairly accurate representation of the RPMs. As I spin it faster, it goes up. This is a reciprocal frequency counter, and everything is gated appropriately. Now, to switch it back to converting it to miles per hour, it's basically this little switch right here. Now let's rotate this. You see the Hall sensor trigger going off down here, and now it's measuring miles per hour. So when it spins this fast, it's about 11 miles per hour, 10. If I try to spin it faster, 12, 13, 12. I'm gonna test it out on a nice windy day. So that seems to be an appropriate amount with the conversion factor. And like I said, I'm going to describe the whole full circuitry in a separate video. But first I wanted to demonstrate that it is functional. And I'm going to put it all together in a nice little package, a modular package that I could just plug and play. And have it set up when I need it to. Anyway, thanks for watching.